Hey, what's going on, gamers? Gnarlord here. We're back today for another video, and hey, by the way, thanks for stopping by the channel. Today we're going over the TWAB. Every week we'll be right here on Thursdays going over the latest update, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, this week at Bungie, we're sweeping up some blues. Time's been flying by, hasn't it? Including the article you're reading today, just 5 TWABs stand between you and the Witch Queen. We don't, yet, have the technology to enter a hypersleep that can bridge these gaps. We do have the power to set some expectations on topics we'll be covering between now and then. This week, we'll be talking about power, blue drops, Gunsmith Reputation, some shifts in exotic sources, and more. Over the next few TWABs, we'll be talking about Vanguard Rep, Gambit Reworks, Weapon Crafting, and Void 3.0, but not necessarily in that order. Don't forget the patch notes preview and additional weapon tuning details. It'll be a fun time, and hopefully we'll give you some things to chew on each week. We may even have a trailer or two to share with you before launch. You know, I watched all these new trailers here, and little bits and pieces. I'm kind of digging the way that Bungie is releasing this season. Pretty happy with it. I mean, if you guys have watched any of the breakdowns, there's some pretty cool stuff coming. The power is yours. In the realm of Destiny, power is not only a measurement of your Guardian's general abilities, but a constant gauge for players on whether or not they'll be able to tackle a given challenge. While the Witch Queen won't feature a big overhaul to the ways in which you gain power, we do have some general updates coming on launch to get returning players and new players up and ready for a fresh campaign. First, let's talk some definitions. So most of you guys will probably know a little bit about this if you played at all, but essentially there's a couple of I guess just general terms, right? So you have the floor, which is the lowest possible power for a piece of gear. Starting point for new characters. The soft cap, which is the point at which general drops stop being automatic upgrades. Powerful gear drops are now the best way to gain power. Power cap, the point the point at which powerful drops stop being upgrades. Pinnacle drops are now the only way to gain power. Hard cap, max possible power from pinnacle drops, ignoring artifact power. All right, so that was a question of mine just from reading this earlier, was whether we're going to have artifact power or not, but that's, not a problem now. Starting on February 22nd, the power floor will be updated to 1350. Any player who signs in will be at the appropriate power level to start the Witch Queen campaign, even if they've taken a recent break from the game. Through general gameplay, players can reach the soft cap of 1500 by earning general gear through activity completions, chests, and more. This includes rare and legendary drops. Once reaching the soft cap, players will need to earn powerful drops from vendor challenges and other objectives in the game. Once reaching the power cap of 1550, the only upgrades that players will find are from in-game activities that offer pinnacle rewards. Your final stretch to the hard cap of 1560 will be through raids, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and other in-game PvE sources. So that's about the same that we've been seeing for the last few months, or sorry, for the last year, which I actually like that change a lot, having the pinnacle cap and the artifact power. I think that is a great way to blend those things together. So continuing on here, there will be some adjustments to Pinnacle and Powerful sources as these shift yearly to focus on newer seasonal content and fresh Destiny 2 expansion content. So expect the Pinnacle and Powerful drops to change just a little bit based on the content that's around. So nothing new there. We kind of expected that to happen. So designing an economy is easy, right? Short answer, absolutely not. Nothing in game design is easy, especially when tackling the various currencies and exchanges that Destiny 2 offers. This week, we'll be diving in the economy feature lead Joshua Kalinsky, speaking to some exciting changes on behalf of the team. So, from Joshua here, beginning in the Witch Queen, blue, rare, rewards will stop dropping from playlist activities. Think God. Crucible, Strikes, Gambit, etc. Once players have reached the soft cap, players above the soft cap of 1500 power in the Witch Queen will instead see a slightly increased chance at receiving legendary rewards from these activities or a small amount of legendary shards. So that is a great change right there. Blue weapons and armors will continue to drop from enemies and chests while playing Destiny 2, but the hope is that this will reduce the players' basically just how they manage their inventories and how they, they said it here. So the trips to the postmaster. So that is a hell of a change. Big fan of that. I know when, you're grinding GMs and grinding nightfalls and stuff, it's real annoying having to stop and run to the postmaster or pull everything out of with dim. So big fan there. We have some work ahead of us when it comes to rarity as a subject in Destiny 2. While blue gear helps players increase their power earlier in the game, we want to look at the place in the overall game. We aren't expecting any major changes the next few seasons, but we will be spending some time behind the scenes thinking about the future of rare drops all up. So that's good. Happy about that. So, Gunsmith Reputation here. Banshee 44 is getting a new reputation system that matches the other vendors in the tower. So we saw this coming, so it's going to look exactly the same way as like Zavala or Shaxx. So make sure that you go ahead and dismantle, no, not dismantle, go ahead and turn all of your Gunsmith materials and weapon telemetries into Banshee 44 before February 22nd. If you don't, those will be lost forever. Mods and mod components here. We will be also removing mod components from the game, starting in the Witch Queen weapon and armor mods sold by Banshee 44 and 801, respectively, will no longer require mod components to purchase and will instead cost 10,000 Glimmer each. Big fan of that. So I guess here, furthermore, as part of this update, we are increasing the number of mods available on each vendor at a single time from 2 to 4. So that's good. We get a total of 4 mods out here now rather than 2, and then also no more mod components. Those things are useless. It's going to cost us Glimmer now. Before we move on, we should note that all ghost mods, okay, so we saw this coming, so yeah, no ghost mods will give you weapon telemetry. Those are getting removed. Rahul is taking over. Yes, so we saw this coming. We knew about it. So Master Rahul is taking over for Spider. So I guess a lot of us are thinking that Spider's actually dying this season somehow. We're thinking that Queen Marasov hopefully will go ahead and take over. We think that Queen Marasov is going to end this guy's life basically. Which hey, I'm looking forward to seeing that. The exchange rates should match. Now for the Spider, so that's good. But essentially, Master Rahul in the tower, he'll be taking over for Spider. In addition, Master Rahul will be picking up wares from Banshee 44 and 801 once offered specifically. So he's taking over Enhancement Prisms and Ascendant Shards. It looks like the prices will stay the same though. So hey, that's fine. As a final note before we move on to some exotic news, Master Rahul will be able to decrypt Umbral Ingrams. Okay, so that's a big change and just a quality of life change right there. I don't know how many guys are tired of having to run back and forth from the tower to the helm, but Master Rahul will now be able to decrypt the Umbral Ingrams that so desperately plagues our inventories. So that's good. All right, this was a big one. So excited about this change right here. Hawkmoon and Dead Man's Tale. As of February 22nd, the Harbinger and Presage mission exotic missions will no longer be accessible. The team still wanted to preserve the ability for players to obtain random rolls in these weapons. Instead of adding these items to the Monument of Lost Lights, as we have done with most of the previous exotics that no longer have sources, these 2 weapons will show up as part of Xur's inventory each week. That's awesome. So essentially, Xur will offer 1 roll of each, and it will be a random roll. So that is pretty cool. So go ahead and grind while you can. Get that 4th time's a charm or that Vorpal roll on the DMT, because that thing's going to be useful next season for sure. Each week, Xur will offer a unique roll on Dead Man's Tale and will be purchasable. Yes. So essentially, he's going to be charging 1 Ascendant Shard, 1 Exotic Cipher, 125,000 Glimmer, and 200 Legendary Shards here. Wait, before you go, what about those exotic catalysts? Oh, that's something fun. The Hawkmoon, DMT, and Aegir's Scepter catalyst will be moved to the playlist activity, so Strikes, Crucible, or Gambit completions. In addition, these 3 will also have added the ability for 3 catalysts that have been absent from Destiny 2 to drop from playlist activities as well. So, big fan of this here. So they're also adding Outbreak, Perfected, Whisper of the Worm, and then the 4th Horseman to their catalysts to playlist activities. So I don't have Whisper of the Worm's catalyst, and I want it, so I am excited to have it drop. So Outbreak, Perfected, and Whisper of the Worm both have added requirements for completing their catalyst updated. So yeah, so those are going to drop from playlist activities. So all right, here's the big one, boys. Save the raid date. The Witch Queen has a new raid. Surprising, no? While we still have a bit of time before the world's first race begins, we wanted to get a rally flag planted in the sand for when you should expect to be taking on the challenge. So officially, the new raid is on March 5th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So mark your calendars, boys. We'll have additional details in contests or on contest mode, Bungie rewards, and other need to know information closer to the date. So personally, I have a team ready. I am very excited for this. Looking really, really good here. All right, next, reload. Earlier this morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you live, we deployed a fresh hotfix to address some crashes found in Gambit, thank God, and Dares of Eternity. Our player support team has a quick rundown in case you missed the patch notes. So hotfix here is 3.4.0.3 that got released. So ornaments can now be equipped to the Wishender bow. In Grasp of Avarice dungeon, players will no longer be trapped inside of the encounter if they are dead outside the crystal tunnel. So that's good. In the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, the damage phase with the ogre boss will now consistently start when you deposited your cursed Ingrams. That's good. I don't know how many times we've had to wait for that to start. And then also, I know they had a problem with the colorblind settings, so they went ahead and reverted that colorblind settings back. And you know, they're hoping to make some different updates in the future, it looks like. Still a couple of known issues here. When first spawning into an area or activity, hand cannons sometimes don't have ammo. Yeah, that's a weird one. You just have to reload and then you're good to go, but that's a kind of a strange bug. I haven't seen that one before. And then Dares of Eternity game streak now gives a maximum of 125 points per completion. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, guys. It looks like that's about it for the information on the Witch Queen and the future of the game here. We've got a little bit of stuff here. Looks like we've got some videos going on, so if you want to check those out, hop on over to Bungie.net. We have a fan-made trailer here, which looks kind of interesting. We've got some artwork. Some of those look pretty good. And then one last thing here. There is a quick clarification before we go. So over the weekend, a few Guardians out there were scraping our articles to figure out whether or not Iron Banner bounties will be removed at the end of the season. It was discovered that we had a slight error published in the website, and I wanted to take a moment to set expectations on what is being removed. So Iron Banner bounties will not be removed at the end of the season. Okay. Bounties acquired and completed at any point during this season will be retained after the Witch Queen. Okay. So any bounties you finish this season, you can keep them, and they will be good next season. Bounties retained in Season of the Lost will be capped at 1350 power. So that is not great for those of us that are going to be grinding for that new power cap. Those are capped at 1350, which you'll be 1350 when you load into the game. So it looks like those Iron Banner bounties that I have are just going to be worth the experience and not the pinnacle. Unfortunate. Additional notes, these bounties will be removed at the end of Season 16 as Saladin will be taking his turn in our rollout of vendor reworks. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like Iron Banner is getting a rework. That's nice. Final note, because I have you here, our final Iron Banner of the season will be during the final week of Season of the Lost. Seasonal bounties related to Season of the Hunt, Season of the Chosen, Season of the Splicer, Season of the Lost, and will be removed at the end of the season. Bounties from the Tangled Shore destination will be removed at the end of the season. Okay, so all the Tangled Shore, that's all gone. Any of the seasonal bounties, so I guess that's a little confusing, but any seasonal bounties related to Season of the Hunt, Chosen, Splicer, or Lost will be removed. Bounties from the Tangled Shore will be removed. Some daily bounties from general activities or destinations may be removed depending on objective or reward balancing on per bounty basis. So, example here, I guess, is a handful of Drifter and Gunsmith bounties are being looked at alongside some vendor work. Note, oh dear, did we just confirm that Drifter is getting a pass? Well, that shouldn't be a surprise. We are tinkering with Gambit in Season 16. More on that in a future TWAB. All right, good. Gambit needs a rework. It's not where it needs to be. I'm excited for it. Rule of thumb. If you do not want to lose your rewards, we highly recommend that you turn in your bounties before the new year of Destiny content hits the servers. While some of you are looking to rank up your artifact a bit faster than others, we expect many of your mod unlocks to come from completing the campaign and jumping into quests or activities afterwards. Take your time. You'll unlock all the goodies. We have no doubts. Thanks for stopping by another TWAB. Next week, Hippie will take the reins again for her second TWAB. Until then, we'll see you in the wild. Cheers. DMG. All right, boys. So that was a pretty juicy TWAB. Nothing really in there that was upsetting this time. So I know last week a lot of people pretty upset about the whole Masterwork situation. They went 3 for 3, and then they lost it on the 3 for 4. So looking like pretty good TWAB here. Pretty excited. Very, very happy that people will be able to grab the DMT and the Hawk Moon after this with random rolls. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then overly excited about Whisper of the Worm Catalyst coming out of seasonal, pretty excited about the Whisper of the Worm Catalyst here too. So, all right, boys. Thanks again for stopping by. Remember, you can catch me live on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays over on twitch.tv/iNarlord. I'll go ahead and put the link down in the description below. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment and subscribe for more information. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.